So welcome to this new episode of Omställningssnack. And today we're going to have it in English because our guest is international. So welcome here, Hans Kreutzer, or something.
Thank you.
You are the man behind Let's Grow Together Jakobstad. And yes, very welcome. I'm very glad to have you here today. So who are you? And what
Who
brought
am I?
you to Jakobstad?
Let's start with I come from Holland, the Netherlands, and I'm 55 years old. And the town where I came from is called Os, and it has about 95,000 inhabitants. That's in Holland, not a really big town, but it's quite substantial. But compared to Finland, it's a totally different thing. And yeah, in Holland, I had a lot of things that I wanted to do and where I was busy with. I like playing volleyball and also coaching that, walking, skating, and biking. And besides that, I worked in as a bartender and photographer in like a cultural centrum in my hometown, Os. And it's a little bit maybe comparable to After Eight here in Jakobstad. It was a little bit bigger, but we could have like concerts for about 500 to 600 people. So it's bigger, but it's kind of like the same vibe and idea. And another thing I was really passionate about, and that's maybe also where Let's Grow Together comes from a little bit. It was like I worked in our platform. We were working on global goals. And one of the things in the global goals was fair trade. And I helped our town to be like a fair trade city. And yeah, I think being fair and fair trade and connecting people, that's a little bit like a red wire in things I like to do, and yeah, what I also enjoy.
Yeah. So what was the reason you came to Jakobstad?
That's also a long story, maybe, but it might be interesting. I hope, at least. Yeah, it started in 1995 when I worked at Organon. That's a pharmaceutical company in Os, and there some girl from Finland came to us to do her thesis, and no, we became friends. Nothing more than that. She had a boyfriend at the time, but it was nice to show also a little bit around in Holland. Later, I visited her family. I came on my bike in 1999 to Finland. I came via Åland and make like a big tour, Turku. Then I went to her parents in Rauma, and there I took the train a little bit to Alavus, where her sister Kirsti lived. And of course, when you're in Finland, you have to visit Santa Claus. So I went all the way up to Rovaniemi and came back via the east, Kuopio, Lappeenranta. And at that time, Kati and her husband, Mikael, lived in Lohja. So that was kind of like the last start, or the last part of the trip. And yeah, we stayed in contact, mostly via Facebook, and yeah, not a lot of things. We had contact, but in 2015, her husband died. And that was also kind of like a strange thing to me to hear that and to see that, and yeah, that was a really bad thing happening to their family. And in 2016, I became 50 years old, and I had like a party, and I wanted to invite everybody who has been kind of like walking beside me in those 50 years. for a longer or shorter period. So I thought, why not ask Kati also? But yeah, I think Finland far away. But what happened? She had like a conference in Leiden just 3 days before I would have my birthday. So she said, "Okay, that would be nice. I will be there." And yeah, we had a good time. That was the first time she was alone uh, without her husband and having the kids alone. So that was also really challenging for her. But it was nice, and nothing more than nice. So yeah, and about a year later, I had some U2 tickets. First, I went to Berlin myself. I'm a huge U2 fan, and sent some pictures. And then Kati replied, "Ooh, U2, quite nice." And it happened to be that I had 2 tickets. So I said, "You're welcome to come." And she said, "Okay, I come." So it was a little bit flabbergasted, but it was a really nice day. And then, yeah, actually, we discovered that we liked each other more than we thought before. And that was, yeah, it was really a nice feeling. And after that, my job at Philips, where I worked at the time, was stopped because they canceled the whole R&D part where I was working. So that was also kind of convenient because I got paid a little bit longer and I could still go away. So then I went 1 month in Holland and then 1 month here. So just to check out a little bit now how it would be to live in Finland. And in the end, September 2018, I came over to Jakobstad and lived there happily after, to say so. So it's maybe a long story, but yeah, it's also kind of like some coincidences happening, and yeah, sometimes you have to take a challenge and see where it brings you, and yeah, it brought me to Jakobstad.
Yes, and yeah, sounds like a nice story.
Yes, it is. And yeah,
Yeah.
there are quite some differences in Finland and Holland, but yeah, it's if you really make a step and go somewhere, then yeah, it's also my belief that you should make like the best of it and try to yeah, to cope in and do things that you can do, you're good at, and yeah, see it positively, and that's what I did.
Yeah. So how do you spend your days in Jakobstad?
Yeah, it started as a volunteer. I was a volunteer at Vega. That's like a big old sailing boat Finland had to make to pay off the debts to Russia at the war. And it was kind of like a new design because they have to make quite a few in a really short time. They had to make really different than before they made ships. And one of the last ships that's still around on the earth is now in Jakobstad, and they are partly restoring it, and partly they leave it like it was because it was not saleable anymore. But it's a nice part of history, and yeah, I did some photographing there, and I took some video from the people and interview from the people who brought the ship to Jakobstad. So that's one of the things I did as a volunteer, and the other one is that I'm still doing is being a volunteer at Meshar. That's an island in the sea just before the coast of Jakobstad, where in summer many people come with a boat, and in winter it's really like magnificent because you can walk over the sea. And coming from Holland, that's something we cannot do ever, walking over the sea. So that was really, yeah, really nice, and yeah, um, yeah, that's the things I did voluntarily, and I had some summer jobs. One was at Folkhälsan, where I organized a family cafe
Mm.
in the July till no June till August. I think that was like 2 3 months, where where the kids could have a good time playing and where parents could have a cup of coffee and talk to each other. So that was also a little bit connecting, and the
Mm.
red wire came out there as well. And the other one was a year later. I did some dishwashing at Pavis, a restaurant here in Jakobstad. So that made me busy. But if you don't have a real job to say so, then it's also what can you do? What do you want to do?
Mm.
So then we are in about like November 2020 when I saw a documentary. Tomorrow it's called,
Mhm.
and it's about the kind of like the world climate is changing,
Mm.
and instead of showing kind of like the bad things, what go wrong and what doesn't happen, and what worst case scenarios, they showed some really positive things that people took action and made some solutions to things. And one of the things that they showed was an English town, or a Great Britain town, I should say, I think, Totmorden, and there they had incredible edible, and
Mm.
that was like edible places at the streets, near the schools, on the way to the doctor, even across the police station. They had some edible things planted there, and it was like a communal thing, so people helped out and could also get um, the results from it. And I got really enthusiastic. The people who um, um, started it were in the documentary, and they were really enthusiastic. And I thought, why not do it also here, something like that? It's good to do like an activity with other people,
Yeah.
and if you do an activity, then you kind of meet the other person. Really, you can talk to a person and not about a person, and I think that's always where misunderstandings and things get out of the way, and you really can get there. And in the same time, you grow vegetables that are edible, and you learn things you might not have learned before, or you might not have known that you could do them before.
Mm.
So let's grow together is also like growing yourself. It's not only growing
Yeah.
vegetables,
Mm.
but that's also behind. And I didn't want to choose between Finnish and Swedish. That's always a little bit
Mm.
the thing in Jakobstad, where it's about
Yeah.
50-50. So I thought, let's make it in English, and let's grow together. And in the years that it has been, um, yeah, growing together has also different meanings.
Mm. Yeah, I really like the name because it's like you can grow in so many ways. The plants grow and the people grow and the community grows, and it's very good.
Yeah, and it's always, I think, also good that you uh, doing things together makes things so much more stronger. And I think if I, maybe as an outsider in Jakobstad, if I see what potential the city has in organizations, in people, in schools, in a lot of things, but most of them are doing things in their own little islands.
Mm.
And if you connect things, then you can do so much more. And that's also um, at the start of this project. I just started talking to people whom I thought could be involved or could be interesting in helping out or doing something together, so it would also benefit the other party that would be involved. And I started more or less. I think one of the first ones was, I think, with uh, Snellman. He was like the founding father of the market here in Jakobstad, where producers directly sell to the
yes.
consumers. So that was also a thing. Yeah, I think if you can work together in that way, and he was right away enthusiastic, and he still is, and he's, I think, one of the biggest supporters. And it's kind of nice to see that people from the start believe in it, and still are happy with it, and support whenever they can. And Reco is also one of the things that came also from Jakobstad, and that's also a bit. I think we should show much more what's in here in Jakobstad. That we have so many things, but it's a little bit like hidden, or people are maybe not so outspoken to just show what they have. And
it can be that people don't really appreciate things that are local, or in a way they think that we've been doing this for a while, and it's just like what we do, and not really kind of see the value in the things that they do, that other value, but we're just like, well, it's just this thing. So it's really interesting. I'm curious about like the first really practical things you did. As would you call this a project, or what is this? Let's Grow Together Jakobstad. What is it, or what do you call this creature?
What shall we call it? It is a project, but it should be, in my opinion, like a community more. That really people are involved, and that many people help out, and it doesn't mean that you have to work like 40 hours a week on it, but that it's like more a really communal thing. And until now, it's more like my project, and that's not what I want. I want it not to be connected really to me. It's about the let's grow together. That's important. It's growing, but it takes really a long time to, or in my mind at least, a long time to really get to wisdom, and to really make it also easier for the people who are involved, that it grows bigger, and that's, I think, the most biggest challenge. I think that it is there. If you ask people, have you heard about? Oh it's a really great project and really good. But if you ask them, would you like to join, or can you help us out, or then it gets a different view on it. And on the other hand, if you ask like for help, because I also ask a lot of companies, or we need some paint. Can we do something with it? And they say, oh, okay, we'll fix it one way or another. We need some soil, so some other firm gave us soil. Plants were really needed. We got those seeds. So if you ask with something that's also nice, then most of the people are also willing to contribute in that way. So that was also still a little bit a surprise that it's that easy, in between brackets, to ask things, and to get it going in that way. And the first thing that was lucky also, and why it's still in the air, is that we got like not a stipendium, but like support from Otto Almans Fund, and that's also, we don't need a lot of money, but you need some money to get things going and keep it going, and that's also, I think, one of the things. If things cost really a lot of money, then it's not really sustainable, because then there always has to be a lot of money so it can keep on. And I think it's best if there's not a lot of money involved. And that's also a little bit like, if we grow something, then people can just take it. They can cut some herbs, or they can cut some salad, and if they need it, they can just take it. And then people ask, how much is it? How much do we have to pay for it? They say, no, it's free, just take it. And people get a little bit confused. How can it be for free? And why don't you ask money? But that's also like the together thing.
Yeah, I was about to say something, but I lost my train of thought. It's really wonderful to have, like, there's so much, there's so many local companies as well in Jakobstad that has this kind of works with plants or seeds or garden things. So I guess it's also like it's a good place to be, because you have closeness to a lot of these kind of gardens. And
I think any little city or any town has carpenters, or have some farmers, or so. But maybe you only have to look for different people or different organizations. But I think if you have a good idea, then many people would like to support it also, and that's also a good thing of a community. And that shows also that people are positively involved in other activities than their own little world.
Yeah, and I also think that there's a lot of value in these kind of grassroots movements. Just like people do things together, and it's not really about money or getting funded, or the economy doesn't get in the way, because sometimes it becomes like this problem that, okay, we need this and this much money, where do we get it, how do you pay for this? So it creates all kind of different problems in a way, to have this budget to start to think about. And the bigger it gets, the more complicated it gets. So
that's true.
So
but that's also a little bit like at the start I thought we would like to have some boxes right in the middle of the center. We have a really big square in Jakobstad, which like a lot of concrete and a lot of asphalt. And I thought, middle in the center, it should be green. It should be like a place where you want to be. So the first thing I had in my mind, we should have some boxes there where we can grow some things, so also people can really see right in the center that something is happening.
Yeah.
And then I thought, boxes, how can we get them there without much money and other things? So I went to it's called Loodsen in Jakobstad, and it's like a place where people with some distance to the normal labor market do things and make things. So I started talking there, and they were okay. We can maybe do something with it. And they made all of them. And I think that's also one of the things that it's good to show also people who might not fit in the ideal society picture, but still can contribute to things, and that they can also be proud of what they did, because they really did a nice job. They made really good boxes, and everybody can see them now in town. So that's also a little bit, it shouldn't be like put away to some far away place where nobody sees it, but it should be also in the lights to show what that everybody who does something, and it might not be on the high scale level of a doctor or whatever you think as a high scale thing, but yeah, that they are contributing and doing their thing, and I think that's what I also learned from my own time as an employed person, that it's really important for people, or for at least if I should speak about myself, that it's really important to belong to something that contributes to something else.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's also the thing what I would like to have with Let's Grow Together, that you're contributing to something else, and yeah, it's meant to be, in my opinion, for everybody who wants to do something. And if you have a job or no job, if you're young, if you're old, everybody can join in.
Yeah, that's so important to have this sense that you belong, or what you do makes a difference in some degree, even if, and also the just doing things together, just like these practical things. I'm thinking about this Finnish word talko. That's a bit kind of lost, or the tradition is kind of disappearing in a way, or a bit. It's like this repairing stuff or building something, like the whole village gathered together and you build things, and somebody cooked lunch, and then we ate together, and just like just the way that connects people when you just kind of do things together. It's just like it creates really connection.
Yeah, but normally you just walk by each other in the street, or maybe you say hi to a person.
Yeah.
But if you're really doing something, you are.
Okay, now something happened to your microphone. Let's see.
Okay. I don't know what happened then.
Yeah, it seems like it lost. There was something.
Lost contact or something. Okay.
You were doing big things with your hands, and suddenly
Yeah, maybe it was swept out.
Yeah, the energy was
back on track.
In fact, your energy affected the technology.
Yeah, sometimes that happens, and that's also a thing that you just have to see what happens, and if something happens what you don't like, or yeah, you just have to try. And that's what I learned, I think, from also one of some workshops I did. If something you tried didn't work, you have to do something different.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's also a wise lesson, I think, that yeah, if you're doing the same thing over and over again, then and it doesn't work, then it doesn't work the next time and the next time. So
yeah, and it's also valuable to realize that if you do things the same way and it doesn't work, then the likelihood that it will work the next time you do things the same way. So it's probably not going to work. So then something needs to change.
Yeah.
So yeah. And just also, I really enjoy, it's also kind of my life wisdom in a way, just kind of trying. Let's try how it works. If it doesn't work, it's it's fine, then we'll try something else. So it's not like this big deal, because I have people in my family that are like, we have to know that it works before we can do it, like there's this it's a gigantic investment that it has to work if I put this energy in it. And so this like this completely different mentality to just trying things. But I also don't really try things that are very expensive or like I just try things in small scale and then see how it works. And then it's not like I invested like thousands of euros in something and then it fails. It's more like maybe 10 or 20.
But that's how I also start this project. I think, yeah, let's give it a go. And if it doesn't work, then half a year later, I'll just do something different. And but yeah, you get enthusiastic when people kind of like see what you envision or what you want them to see, what it could be. And yeah, that's I think the first thing I also did quite in the early stage. I had to go to the city because yeah, the marketplace is it's
Mm,
their place. So and I
yeah.
wanted to put something there. And yeah, okay, yeah, nice thing, yeah. But yeah, do your thing there, and yeah, that's okay, and we'll see how it works out or not. And yeah, the last summer I came up with the idea that we needed to have some nice sitting places,
Mm,
and I made them from recycled cable rolls, I think it's
mhm,
called.
yeah.
And I made the table from the top, and from the bottom I made the seats.
Oh.
But I wanted to make them like yellow and green.
Mm.
And yeah, then the city people, yeah, it might be a little bit challenging, but let's give it a try. So yeah, in that way, I get quite a lot of support also from the city. They allow me more or less to do what I think would be a good thing to
Mhm.
do. And yeah, I think at least I haven't heard any remarks that they would say, "Oh, it's so bright and it's so colorful, it doesn't belong here." So, but then, yeah, but that's also the thing. You have to try things and see if it works, and if it doesn't work, yeah, then too bad. But then you can do something else, or and yeah, that's I think all the things I thought of what I wanted to do and what the project and eventually the community should be. Everything is more or less trying something and see does it
Mm.
work or doesn't it work.
Yeah, that's the best way to learn, to just try it out, see how it
And
goes.
happily, I must say, most of the things I thought of are working. So that's also kind of
That's
easy way because if the things you think that should work and they don't work, then it's also kind of like,
yeah, yeah, that's also a bonus when things work.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it worked.
that's stimulating.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of value just in kind of doing things. I think you're probably inspiring to a lot of people that haven't really even thought about like that they could exist like these growing boxes in the middle of the square or sitting places. That is really really
And
nice that
and even
somebody, yeah,
at
somebody
home,
needs to,
that's
yeah,
also the thing.
somebody needs to have the idea to do it and then really do
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Maybe a lot of people have been
but
thinking
that's
in their homes like, ah, there should be more green things in the square, but it'd be nice to have places to sit. But then it just, stays as this kind of idea and doesn't move anywhere.
yeah, that's why I also wanted to have like also a little bit more like workshops. We didn't have
Mm,
much of them. Corona was in the middle also a little bit in the beginning, so that was kind of tough. But we for instance this year we had like a workshop or a lecture about insects
mm,
because without insects nothing will happen. You don't get any
yeah,
food. Nothing will. So we really need insects. So it's important
mm,
also a little bit to know yeah, how you can get them more in your garden and which ones are good ones or bad ones or and yeah, it was also kind of nice to see that um, if I look at the square, there were many butterflies, many bees this year.
mm,
So if you put some green stuff they like, you also enlarge like the biodiversity of
yeah,
the place where you do things. And yeah, that's also kind of like nice. I think to bring life, really life back in the city.
yeah. And it's also incredible that you don't really need so much like flowering plants to bring in the insects and butterflies and all kinds of. A little bit goes a long way with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to go back to did I hear you that you took your bike from Holland to Finland?
Good.
Whatever gave you that idea?
Yeah, I like cycling,
Oh.
and I wanted to visit Kati here. So then I thought, yeah, why not take the bike there? And at the end, I think I almost cycled like 2,000 kilometers. So it was really like a big thing. But that's also, yeah, a bit the thing. Uh, if I have an idea, I want to, uh, yeah, show it or make it come through or see
Mm.
what happens with it. And because it was, yeah, it was quite challenging also because I was on my own
Mm-hmm.
with a bike, a tent on the back, uh, much too much luggage, of course,
Mm.
because you never know what's happening. But yeah, and I cycled all kind of dirt roads where you don't see anybody for for half a day or a day. And in Holland, we're quite common to put your hand up if you see somebody and say
Mm.
hi. But then everybody was more like, "Oh, what does the one person want from me? Just go quickly away from him." So that was yeah, also the little bit different in culture.
Mm. So how long did it take? How many days were you
I
bicycling?
think I was. I think it will be about 4 weeks. I think I was.
Oh wow. That's
Yeah,
quite
it
a
was
trip.
about 80, 90 kilometers a day. I think that was like a little bit the average
Hmm.
uh, distance I took.
Mm. Did you ever get this idea that why did I do this? This was a stupid idea.
No, yeah. Sometimes that was also a little bit because I think I want to put my tent somewhere, and I think you should always ask the
Mm.
owner if it's okay. And at that time, I found some really nice spaces, but all the people I asked, they said no, no, no. So that was
Mm.
a little bit like, But yeah, I also put it somewhere at the lake or yeah, at pretty nice spots, and yeah, that's also I think really Finland. You can enjoy nature and being out there. Even in Lapland, there were like thousands of mosquitoes, so that was a
Mm.
little bit not the nice part of Finland. But yeah, on the other hand, I really had a great time, and yeah, I met all the family from Kati, so it was also kind of nice to have like a goal to go somewhere. And yeah, it was a really good trip.
Hmm. Yeah, how much did you plan before you did it? Or was
I'm
it
not
more
so
like
really
this is
good at planning. That's also a little bit with the project sometimes. I come up with something and then I think, oh, that's already in 3 weeks. So maybe that's a little bit too short to do things like that. But yeah, it's things pop up and then I just
Mm-hmm.
go for it and yeah, most of the time it works for me and that's good.
Ah, that's great. It's very inspiring to do this. Like, sometimes I feel
That
like you have
might
to
not
plan.
be really finished.
Yeah, sometimes you
And
get the idea
that's
that you.
also maybe if I see how I did this thing from the start. I got an idea and I just
Mm-hmm.
started. And that's not really the typical way to start things in Finland.
Yeah.
You first take a pen and a paper and start writing again and have a meeting and oh another meeting and maybe think of it again. But yeah,
And have a
that's too slow
budget,
for me.
have
Yeah,
everything
that's
settled.
too slow for me. If I think of something, then I just and that's maybe also the practical thing. Bits
Mm.
I like to do things practically and not really on paper and sometimes that's also making yeah you step over things that you should have thought of before
Mm.
or yeah not everybody is on the same page as you, so you're too quickly to do things. So and yeah, but I think it also works if you can really show things that you have achieved or that have become a reality.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but I think it's really, more people should dare to just experiment with things and just start doing something that they want to do without really thinking too, because also the thinking too much, it kind of, you realize all the things that could go wrong, all the things that will not work, and then they become this block, and then suddenly you
Yeah,
don't really want
more
to do
bears
it.
on the road.
Yeah, it's just like, oh no, it's going to be too difficult. If you just start, then you're already doing it, so it's just
Yeah, but
move on.
yeah, that's the true. And um, yeah, if you're on the move to a goal, then you
Mm-hmm.
also see the goal ahead of you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always, I think, no, not always, but most of it, it's better to look forward than to look backwards and say, oh, that went wrong and that went wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You can't change that anymore. The things that are behind
Yeah.
you, you only have influence on the things that are ahead of you.
Mm.
And if you have like a goal you can see for yourself, then it's easier also to go there.
Yeah.
So I inspire all people that have something they want to do, and it can also be a small thing. Just listen to a radio program or listen to this podcast, for
Mm-hmm.
instance,
Yeah.
more often. It's just start doing things or being creative. You always want to paint, but kids or whatever is in the way.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody has some time or space of its own, I think, and yeah, just use it also, yeah, for the benefits of yourself. And
Yeah.
it's always nice if somebody else also can benefit of it. But
Yeah, and also in a way to have this, like, to look after your own well-being. Like when you do things that you enjoy doing or inspire you, then you kind of have more energy to spend time with other people. You're happier, you're like more easygoing. So it's like everyone benefits from people doing like the things that they want to do and enjoy doing.
that's also kind of what I learned when I was out of a job in Holland, because I was like two times where my work stopped,
Mm.
not my doing, but the company said we stop this. So and then
Mm-hmm.
you have to think, oh, what do I want to do?
Mm-hmm.
The things I did I really want to do those things, or
Yeah.
other things that are more important, or that give you more joy or happiness? And yeah, that's why I also thought, yeah, I really like to do. Yeah, maybe it's a little bit too pushy or something, but do things for a better world. It's
Mm.
a big thing, but it can also be small things. But yeah, that's yeah why I also realized. Yeah, it's good to make a better world for all.
Yeah, and that's so, it gives a lot of energy to feel like that you're working for something bigger than yourself, like you're kind of contributing to something larger than just your own small life, and your, yeah, really brings value to
Yes,
life.
and yeah, and to yourself in the end
Yeah.
as well. So it's kind of like a circle. So yeah, it's nice to see those things and to yeah, let it come.
Hmm. Yes. Well, speaking about looking ahead, what are your upcoming ideas and visions about this Let's Grow Together Jakobstad?
You want to hear them all, then we have to talk another hour, I'm afraid. But that's a little bit the thing of me. I get so many things that I think would be nice to do,
Mm-hmm.
but you always have to kind of like prioritize
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, we now had, for instance, like 2 years, let's eat together.
Mm.
That was happening on the square where we provided lunches so people could really eat on the square
Mm.
together. And also that was like a cooperation with Optima. That was the first year. That's like a practical school where they teach students to work in a restaurant, and so they prepared the food. They thought of it
Oh.
themselves, prepared it, and sold it on the square. And last September we had like the second edition. Sounds really nice, second edition.
New and
And
improved edition.
no, that it was certainly, because we had some dancing, some singing. We had a DJ with it, and yeah, we had like Optima was also involved again, and we had like the Ukrainian association in Jakobstad
Mm.
that also brought some food, and a local restaurant. So it also that was a little bit growing, and yeah, in the end, it would be nice if, yeah, maybe all, or we have some food trucks in Jakobstad also, that they would also participate, so that the whole square is like a food place where people can sit, eat, and enjoy,
Yeah.
and also there meet each other again. Because if you're eating and sitting next to a person you might have not known before,
Mm.
it's, yeah, that's a good thing. So definitely the third edition of Let's Eat Together should be coming around next year.
Mm.
And then we have thought of something a little bit different. Also, in many places you have like those electrical cable boxes
Mm.
from Air Force, or from your internet connection. They're all those metal boxes in the streets,
Yeah.
and most of them are tagged with some nasty graffiti, not nice.
Mm.
So we thought, how nice would it be if we could paint them or put graffiti on them, or, yeah, do something art artificial, no, not artificial, arty to
Mm.
it, so it becomes like, yeah, a nice place in the surrounding.
Mm.
Oh, and yeah, we're at the beginning at it now at the moment, but we have like the go from Air Force and JNT that we could use their boxes
Mm.
under circumstances, of course, some
Mhm.
rules, but yeah, they are okay with it. So now the next step is going to the city, because it's in the city area, so they also have to say something about that.
Yeah.
And then the next steps, in our opinion, is that we would like to have like a workshop from a graffiti artist or another painter to show, preferably in our opinion, like kids or juvenile people who would like to help, and who would also like to paint one or
Mm.
two or some boxes, so they also know a little bit how to do that in a nice way. And yeah, then it's yeah, how to get the youth people of Jakobstad involved. So that's the next step after that. So there are quite some steps to go, but that's at least one of the things that are on the line. And another thing that's always like a little bit also like, that would be nice to have like more places in Jakobstad that have edible plants around.
Mm.
And yeah, we started off with an elderly home. They had a really nice inner yard,
Mm.
and they put some edible things there,
Mm.
and like berry bushes and strawberries and herbs, grapes. I think they also place. So it's also nice for their environment
Yeah.
to have edible things. And last year we also were to a school here. They had some. Almost every school in Finland has like growing boxes,
Mm.
I think. But most of them have only like weeds in them and nothing is growing. So this year we started with the how it's called in English, Eldervereniging from the school. So the
the
parents,
parents association.
yeah, and they said, yeah, we have those things, so why not give it again, give it a try and see how it becomes. And it really was nice. There were many flowers and yeah, and that is also one of the things I think that people always say, oh, if you do this, then it will be destroyed within a week. Why don't you bother? But nothing happened, and it's really like a place where a lot of kids also play out of school, so not during school time, but everything stayed really good. So that's also the thing. I hope that more schools could be involved next year, and giving this like as an example of how it could work and how it works. So that's the next thing. And then there will be some workshops I would like to have more, and maybe in the a little bit further future, I also would like to have like let's glow together. In Finland, it's really dark in the coming months. If we say now from November till February, March. So how nice would it be if we could have some a light festival or something like that. Also in town, and also with cooperation with neighborhoods maybe, or here we have like Novia. That's like a school where they have arts. They teach. We have designers at Optima. That's lower level, but that's they also have really good people who can do things with electricity. So there are many groups that could contribute to this, and I'm now starting to talk to some groups to see if that could be realized. And they had already something here in Jakobstad 2 years ago with lights, and I think it's really nice if you can light up or glow up the town in the dark moments of the year.
Yeah. Sounds really great. That's really kind of, when I listen to you, I can just like sense this spider web growing, more people getting connected to this project in some way.
Yeah, that's also nice that like you, that also people now find me, and that I don't have to find them, but that they say, oh, maybe it's good that we talk or we do something, or and that would be like also the more people involved in doing things together again. Maybe it's like a record repeating, but the better it is for everybody. And I think like the thing with Optima, with Let's Eat Together, they get really good publicity going out and showing to the city, hey, look, we have here some students, they made this, they can do this. And so I think for schools, it's also really good to go out to the public and to show what their students can do. And there I think there's still some work to be done to get them out of the schools and get them literally on the street, on the market, to join in and to show what they can.
Yes, absolutely. It really sounds like it's like this everybody wins kind of situation. Everybody gets some kind of value from participating in it. And that's really wonderful. And I just think that like I have this theory that people really want to do things. They want to be connected with other people. They want to do things together. It's like this kind of inner human characteristic that we need to do things together with our people. So it's just like wonderful to have these opportunities for people to just kind of very easily come into these situations where they can meet other people and just talk and start talking to somebody they never talked to before or over over food, even better.
Yeah,
Really,
that's
food is also this one thing that connects a lot of people when you
and
eat
we all need
together.
food.
Yeah.
We all need food, and it's also good to know also a little bit where does my food come from.
Yeah.
It doesn't grow in the supermarket. No, somebody has to work for it. So it's also kind of like a a learning experience that you really know. Oh yeah, oh I have put these seeds in the ground, then I had to water it. Oh, then the wind came, so I have to put like some shelter for it. But it still grows. It grows, and now I can eat it. So that's the whole process. That's also I think a really good thing, and that's why also it would be nice to involve more schools because that's
Yeah.
if you get to the roots at the start, then also what they think and what they do and how they do things. I think that can also bring a longer time profit in between brackets from it. If you start with young people, they have the whole life in front of them. So if they take a little bit with it from that you are thankful that that things grow and that you have to do something for it, and that you maybe I'm a little bit like a teacher, but that you want to be um, what's the word? I can't come to it at the moment. Respectful to food and respectful to people who make food, and that's a little bit uh, the tough thing. I'm working now at Optima at the kitchen, and then you see how many food is kind of like thrown away. That people don't eat it, but still have it on their plate, and that's also a little bit not in my agenda. If I put something on my plate, I want, I cannot throw it away. But apparently, at the school, it's almost like normal that you throw something away. So it's you almost have to be thankful if it's not like half a plate. And people say, "Oh yeah, but it's just like a little." But and that's the thing that you are grateful that you have food and that you know how it's grown and that it takes time to grow things. That makes also maybe a little bit respect for the farmers and the people who get our food on the supermarkets.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really even on a global scale, even this food waste is such a big problem in like not just like when it comes off the plate, but just like this how much food is wasted from the time they are taken out of the ground until they're in some shop somewhere. So it's
And also it's that's also where the fair trade comes in again. That the people who made your food that they also get like a reasonable price for them for what they made,
yeah.
and that there should also be respect, and that also accounts for like it doesn't have to be far away, but also like the Finnish farmers that they get the right price for their products, and that you're thankful that they are growing things for you, and that's also the thing, that if you do it yourself, you also see that not every seed you put in the ground will become something. So it needs nurturing. It needs also a little bit luck that the weather is at the right time, warm or cold, and having water. So it's a big process growing things.
Yeah. I think we could start wrapping things up, but I would like to tell us, or the people who hear this and want to know more, where can they find information about this? Let's grow
Yeah, we have
together,
like
Jakobstad.
a Facebook and an Instagram account. Let's grow together, Jakobstad, all together written, and the same. Let's grow together at gmail.com. You can also write to us, and we'll get back to you if you have a question or maybe an idea what we could bring to light. That's always welcome. If you want to join or yeah, want to hear a little bit more about this, always welcome to contact, and it's good to share. So we're happy to do that.
Right. Well, thank you for being a part of this episode of our or my podcast, you can say. Oh, great.
Yeah, thanks for
Thank
the
you.
invitation, and it's really good that people think a little bit longer and further than their own uh, mind and want to hear more about others as well. So thank you very much for the invitation, and it was nice to talk, and hope to see you maybe once in real life somewhere on the
Yeah.
square near our nice boxes.
Yes, great.